Hi, it's BNL from Think Before You Type, and we're here with Paul from Canyon City. Hi, Paul.
Hey,
Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
We're excited to have you. So, just to start with our first question. So, last time we spoke with you was back in the fall of 2017. And a lot has happened since then, I'm sure, in your world and in the world in general. So, can you catch us up a little bit about what's been going on with you, what's been going on with Canyon City since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, so quite a bit. I released, I think around that time, I was getting ready to release the second full-length album, Constellation, and we were doing some shows for that. And it was great to get to talk a bit in New York right before that show too. That was really a awesome conversation to be part of. After that, I've done a bunch of singles and then also released a third LP called Bluebird. And then following that, I did a few more singles, peppered in some tours in there. We've been going overseas a little bit more, of course, not at the current moment for obvious reasons, but we've been recording a bit more. And then I recently joined with a group called, or a label called Network Music. And so now I'm starting to, the single that I just released called Catch Fire was with that group, and I've just finished recording a new EP that will hopefully be kind of going out in bits and pieces and things like that over the. I'm hoping by the fall, but we'll see what release schedules look like and tour schedules and all that good stuff. But it's been just really kind of a steady mix of recording, releasing, and occasional touring.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Congratulations on signing with this new
Yes,
group and
congrats.
Oh,
getting
thank
that
you.
done.
I'm excited to be with them. I've been almost defiantly independent up to this point in trying to be self-represented and all that good stuff with the music. But these people seemed like they really were on the same page and are on the same page. And it was a situation where I was happy to relinquish some of the control of the day to day because they seem like they're just so good at what they do and a really wonderful group of people to work with.
Sounds like a great setup.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So you already brought this up, but you just released your new song, Catch Fire, this past Friday. First of all,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
you're welcome. So can you tell us a little bit more about the song, like the writing process for it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, another big thing that happened in, I guess, now it's officially Canyon City world is I got married last year. So I
Congratulations.
want
We saw the pictures.
to. Oh, thank you so much. And she actually sang on the song. She was on the choruses. So she's a wonderful singer, has a fantastic voice, and I always have to kind of coax her into the microphone a little bit because she doesn't know how good she is, but she's fantastic and sounds amazing. So I was really
You
excited to
sound
have
Beautiful.
her on the
great on
song.
there.
Oh well, I'll make sure to let her know
Yeah,
because
please let her know.
I,
We'd love to hear her
I
on more
think
songs.
she's absolutely well. She was super kind to help me out on that, and this song was largely inspired by meeting her and the early parts of marriage, but also uh, really meditating on the way that um, things can start, whether it be an act of kindness or whether it be a loving relationship or anything that ends up uh, rippling something good into the world, that it can have such small beginnings. And it can sometimes be so the song starts with saying we start so light and faint, and it's about just how the smallest things can can ripple forward, can gain momentum. And the metaphor within Catch Fire is it starts to be this light and this warmth that goes so far beyond any initial expectations or what I could have imagined it going, in that it not just within a relationship or a single act or anything like that, but that it affects the people around you and it affects the world that you're living in and the work that you're doing, and just the way that uh, kindness and love and goodness seems to have momentum that carries beyond uh, the initial the beginning of it, I suppose. And so Catch Fire is about that momentum growing and just sort of meditation on that.
That's a message I think that the world really needs to hear right now.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for writing
Oh,
such a wonderful song that helps encompass all of that.
Yes.
oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm just excited to be able to. It's funny because these times where all still connecting, but from some degree of distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's really therapeutic for me and helpful to be able to connect through music, and to be able to still have that, because I feel like there's some common emotional experience that we sometimes uh, are allowed to feel together in music and talk about. And so it's great to be able to connect with people, whether it be through the streaming platforms, if they're reaching out online, or whatever it may be. It's sort of it's a bit of a human connection that I've been missing. That's really great in this season of sharing music.
So was this song something that you were already planning on releasing like around this time, or like did this pandemic kind of change that?
It definitely changes. So I'd initially planned on releasing the song earlier this year, probably around January or February. And I had recorded it, I'd written it last year and recorded it in the late fall. And part of it was when we started talking with the label group and started working on getting everything up and running with that, we pushed back some of the releases a little bit. The other part of it was us, like everybody, we're just working out some. Right now, we're out here, very fortunate to be in a safe spot, and we're out as you can see, just a little bit of nature back there. But we're out at the lake, just kind of hanging out while this is all going on. But that also pushed it back a little bit. But I also feel, I know some people have been understandably pushing releases back, but I also feel like this is now more than ever a time that it's great to put out works where we can connect, and we can especially things where I feel like I need to almost remind myself from time to time some of these messages that are within that song of,
Mm-hmm.
we can still, even if we're to some degree distanced from each other, we can still do things on a day-to-day basis where you're changing the world every day you're in it. And to be mindful of that, and to be mindful of the way that ripples out as well, and creates those waves of warmth and positivity. And so it's something that I didn't initially intend for the season, but then in being in the season, I viewed it with a little bit of a different light,
Mm-hmm.
and it seemed to have a message for this time as well, that was. And writing is funny like that, and that you sometimes say things that you don't initially think you're saying, and then you look back and you go, oh, that's what it was about, or that's what it was, going to be before. And so it had a message that I didn't, that I there was a version that I intended, and then there was a version that seemed applicable to this current moment, that listening back on, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense for right now.
Yeah, that makes it really special in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
So our final question for you is a question that we've been asking
Sure.
some of our recent interviewees, and it's related to the fact that we've started this new campaign called Keep Your Head Up to try to inspire people
Yeah.
during this difficult time. And our question is, what are you doing to help keep your head up during everything that's going on right now?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely been seasons of adjustment, and I would even say for me, I've struggled with it a bit. There've been some times when you just don't quite know how. Like for me, rhythm helps a lot, especially with creativity. Having a creative rhythm, having a daily time where I go into the writing, at this point, which is a room that I've kind of turned into a music room. And I had a version of that, and there was social elements of that, things like going to the coffee shop or seeing a friend, or something like that, that I had to kind of readjust in this time. But something that I found helps a lot for me was just refinding and recommitting to a creative rhythm and a daily rhythm, uh, as well as just allowing allowing myself to uh, I don't know the right word to articulate, but allowing myself to use the space uh, while I have it, knowing that of course, I would much rather not be in quarantine right now, but uh, while we have this space, there is a silver lining to that, and there's things that I can read, or I've been able to take some time to work on meditative stuff or mental health in ways that I maybe wouldn't have if I was on a normal schedule, or if I had my normal excuses. And so that's been really great for me, as I've been able to take some time to really focus in on what are some like mental health things that I maybe been putting on the back burner for a while, focusing on that, digging into writing more, and then also things that are uh, you know, the everyday social connections. My wife and I got a Nintendo Switch,
Mhm.
so we could play Mario Kart with old friends from college and that kind of stuff, and we just
What's
bring
fun?
everybody up on FaceTime and do that. And so we're it's like everybody, we're playing around with new hobbies. We're trying to bake some bread, which
Yes.
has become kind of a quarantine meme of sorts, but we're giving it our best shot. We have a competition right now to see, because we couldn't buy yeast where we are, so we had to do the sourdough starter and all that good stuff. And so both because we like to have little competitions and things like that, and also because we thought there's a pretty good chance that at least one of our attempts at this starter is not going to work out. We had a competition to see who can build the best one, and it kind of fluctuates day to day. It's probably her more on average, but I'm not giving up the fight.
That's awesome. It sounds like you found a lot of different things to kind of focus on. And I think I really love what you were saying about looking for the silver lining in the midst of everything, because it is so easy to get caught up in all the anxiety and negativity that is coming with this season. And it can be hard to take that moment to really kind of look for the positive things, but it's amazing that you've been able to find some of them.
Yeah, it's it's been an odd thing, and that there have been times in this where, even though I wish that the circumstances were different, I've been grateful for the place we're in or the time that we have. And I also realize that that's a huge privilege. There's people that are on the front lines that are going to work and going to at risk circumstances every day. And so I wanna also recognize and honor that these people are doing such incredible things. But there's a even though I've had plenty of times where I've uh, um, you know, spiraled a bit and just tried to make sense of what's going on. The times when we can try to use that space productively, whether that just be trying to uh, deepen in creativity, or deepen in healthy activities, or just using as you mentioned, the silver lining. I feel like we've been able to hit a little bit of a positive stride in the last month or so. So that's been a nice thing.
Yeah, I think for us, definitely one of the silver linings has been catching up with people like you. It's so wonderful to hear how you're doing and hear how you're experiencing this, and like kind of like it resonates with us. Like we're trying to find our rhythm and like
Exactly.
figure out our new day to day with this whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. That seems to be so much of it, is just finding that there was a long period of time where I felt where I couldn't feel like I was doing enough, and I don't know if that was just the change of pace, or if that was just the change of there are things that you can't do when you're sort of separated and cut off. And so there's just sort of this feeling on a regular basis of like, oh, like I feel like I kind of gave maybe 80% today of what I could have given. But I think being able to sit down and really find that day-to-day rhythm, and also self-forgiveness too, of
Mhm.
there are days when it's just hard to be motivated, it's hard to be inspired and creative. And so there's been a few days that I maybe had it on my schedule to right from this time to that time. They're like, today I just need to you know do some health stuff, do some mental health exercises, or just spend the day in the sun. Being that we're up here in northern Minnesota right now, we're still kind of battling the cold, and so any warmth we can get, being willing to move with the changes, and have some flexibility and self forgiveness in that too, I think is huge.
Yeah, that's really important. And also that view behind you is beautiful.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
I feel like I'm
Oh,
just like being relaxed by watching the water. It's
well,
amazing.
the lake just thawed about a week and a half ago, and it was like our Christmas. We were so happy to see signs of life, and all the birds came back, and we were so excited.
I don't understand winter like that. That blows my mind.
Yeah, my wife is from Mississippi, and she's like, this is. I'm really grateful that we have the space, and I grew up near here, so we're also happy to be near some family. But she's like, I don't think I ever want to do this kind of winter again. I think that it's sort of one and done.
Yeah, once in a lifetime experience. I
Yeah,
understand that.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us. We're really happy we were able to reconnect, and we're excited that you were excited to talk with us and join in on this campaign.
Oh, absolutely. I think that what you're doing is so important, and it's something that just people connecting however they can. But also, I really do believe in the power of uh, kind interactions and just positive positive human interaction. The way that I think uh, goes that grows so much beyond what we end up seeing. I think that inspires and increases in momentum in ways that are really important. So I really appreciate the work you're doing that encourages that and shines a light on that and champions that.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You get the sister moments this time around.
They happen a lot.
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, we're excited to hear the rest of the music that you're going to be releasing soon. And like I told you last time, I still always study to your music, and it's been really great to listen to during this difficult period of time as well. So thank you so much for everything you do.
And Lauren got me on board to listen to you too, which has been great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening and for keeping track of it. And hopefully we'll have some new stuff out there soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much for talking with us today.